Hey everyone, welcome to another video about the rules that are coming out for Warhammer 40K 8th edition. As always, my name is Jay. Now these videos are actually kind of fun, and it's allowing me to do like pre-rule previews. It's kind of like pre-rule reviews. You know, it's been nice. The book hasn't even come out yet, and I can still talk about it with you. And so this video will talk about unit profiles, weapon profiles, and of course, it's hit the news, they're removing templates, which will be in the weapon profiles from the game. That sucks. I liked templates, but alright, we'll talk about that. So there are some big changes to unit profiles in Warhammer 40K 8th edition coming out. Now a lot of people didn't even address these. That, first of all, obviously there's the movement characteristic now in the unit profile. So we're going to use a tactical squad because that's what GW's talked about already. The standard tactical squad, they kind of be the standard of 40K. So we'll talk about them today. So now, of course, there's a movement characteristic. So the M, in case of tactical marines, is 6 inches. They can move 6 inches in a normal turn. If they don't want to run, if they want to shoot. Next, the weapon skill. Now the weapon skill also has a change to it, what people haven't been really addressing. Instead of doing a number, it's now something plus, referring to like the number on a dice to hit. So for Space Marines, it's 3+. Now I'm hoping that there are going to be modifiers. Otherwise, that means in close combat, I guess, just to make it easier, rather than having to compare an arbitrary number, they hit on 3-ups. We'll see. Ballistic skill, also 3-up. So now they've taken away the math part. So it used to be ballistic skill 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, so you need a 3 to hit. Now it's just 3-up. Strength and toughness 4, staying the same. 1 wound, initiative, 1 attack. Now here's where it gets interesting. Leadership 7. So Space Marines have been dropped by leadership. That's interesting. I wonder what Orc Boys are going to have leadership of. Because this is also in combination to what's happening with the leadership tests and morale checks, as I brought into my first video. They're going to be equivalent to the old demonic instability. So if you fail a leadership check, you might cause wounds. That's pretty big. So having a leadership reduced for Space Marines makes them less survivable, for sure. And then a save, 3-up. Now the other big thing about Warhammer 40K unit profiles is that vehicles / dreadnoughts and units will all have the same profile, as in no more hull points, no more that kind of stuff. Vehicles now have leadership, or at least dreadnoughts do. I don't know about vehicles themselves, but dreadnoughts do. So let's take a dreadnought. This is a Space Marine dreadnought unit profile. Once again, movement 6 inches. We can move 6 inches per turn. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+. So once again, you'll be hitting on 3+, maybe in close combat, maybe in shooting, maybe there'll be modifiers like shooting to cover, shooting to combat. We'll see. Strength 6, toughness 7. So dreadnoughts have toughness 7 as opposed to front armor 11. So no more armor. 8 wounds. So these things are going to be a lot harder to kill with single shot guns, but you can actually do it now. So trade-off, right? 4 attacks, leadership 8. So they have a leadership value now. That's huge because you used to be able to tie up your opponent by just throwing leadership, no leadership models at them. You know, a dreadnought could tie up something forever because even if they could just, you know, they can't really hurt the dreadnought, and dreadnoughts are fearless because they don't have a leadership value. Save, 3-up. So that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. You can now, you know, there's modifiers to both of them. It does say that there'll be modifiers to the ballistic skill and the weapon skill with 3-up. Strength and toughness are still with us, it says, but still use the opposing value. But now here's the interesting thing. Obviously, if you're significantly higher strength than your opponent's toughness, you'll wound on a 2-up as normal. But it did show that, it did state that if you're significantly lower, you'll always wound on a 6-up. So a Grot can wound a Dreadnought or a Wraith Knight on a 6-up. That's pretty big. Pretty big stuff there. Pretty big stuff. So then they use an example of Rogue Gilman and Terminator Squad. Now let's talk about the Terminator Squad, because I thought this was an interesting... people are talking about this one. Terminators are going to have 2 wounds each, and that's true. So, Terminator Squad, movement 5 inches, so they're slightly slower than the Space Marines. Makes sense, they're in heavier armor. Makes sense. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3-up. 3+. Strength toughness 4. 2 wounds each, 2 attacks, leadership 8, 2 up save. Now, the reason why the 2 up save, the reason why they get double the wounds now is because they're actually significantly easier to kill. With weapon modifiers on their way, like heavy bolters, for example, will probably make them 3 up. And with a 3 up armor save, it's twice as likely they'll die. So twice as many wounds, good. A las cannon will do d6 wounds anyway. So odds are it's going to kill a 2 wound Terminator. You know, so Terminators are going to be much less survivable due to save modifiers. So having them have 2 wounds each is actually pretty fair in my perspective. So what do you think about that? That is the first part, the unit profiles. So the big changes are obviously now they have movement, right? Movement is now a characteristic. Weapon skill, ballistic skill is now a roll. So no more comparisons for the weapon skill, which used to be arbitrary anyway, essentially. Now they just say 2 up, 3 up, 4 up, 5 up. Makes sense. Space Marines are, a lot of lower leadership I've noticed. Interesting. And Dreadnoughts and vehicles now have wounds. So Dreadnoughts are like normal people just souped up. They're like a monstrous creature, essentially. I think it's going to be a very interesting characteristic. I think it's very interesting. What do you think? So let's go to the next one, the weapon profiles. Now, before I start with weapon profiles, we have to talk about it. This is the big thing. No more templates. At least no more flamer templates, but pretty sure like even store owners have brought up the fact that they've been refunded for all the templates. So there's going to be, it doesn't look like there's going to be any more templates anymore, which is unfortunate because it was a good dynamic I found of Warhammer 40K. I really like the templates, especially like flamer templates. You can flame a bunch of guys, blast templates, create a huge blast. Now it looks like it'll be replaced with D6, which is better and worse depending on the circumstance. So, for example, a flamer template, if you were flaming a squad of 10 grots, you could probably hit 8 of them, and you'd get 8 wounds, and you'd probably kill most of them, right? Statistically, kill 6. If you're flaming Space Marines, you'd probably still be able to hit 4. Now going down to a D6 system, the average roll being 3.5, it's a trade-off. So if you flame, let's say you're flaming 1 guy, right? Your opponent's squad has 1 guy left. Then it's actually beneficial in this circumstance because instead of hitting the same guy every time, you get D6 on the guy. So you can actually do, with 3 flamers, you could do 10, 11 hits on average. And that would much greater increase the chances of killing the single model. But now the thing is that it's a weird dynamic because now you're relying more on the dice than opposed to your opponent's squad size. So it's a lot more random. Alright, so as I said, weapons will have new profiles in this game. Obviously, they'll still have a range, like as before, a type, assault, rapid fire, heavy. But they have a strength, an AP, and what's called D, which is the number of wounds. So, yeah, that's kind of an interesting one. It's called the damage. D is for damage, apparently, not D as in D table. So let's take a bolt gun, a standard gun in Warhammer 40K. It's 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, which probably means that you could rapid fire 2 shots, Strength 4. AP dash, so there's no modifiers. AP is now referring to a modifier value, not a comparable value to the armor save. So it'll be 0, -1, -2, -3, for example, -4. D, number of damage, 1. And abilities, no abilities. But now let's take a flamer, which used to use a template. Once again, it is an assault D6, range 8. So you have to be able to fire within 8 inches, the range of a flamer template. Strength 4, AP 0, D 1, but it's assault D6. So this weapon automatically hits its target. So it automatically hits, and it does assault D6 hits against a squad. And as I mentioned, there's pros and cons to that. There's trade-offs. They could be really powerful, like a squad of Burna Boys with 10 guys in it could do 10 D6 hits automatically on a squad. That's pretty scary. Pretty scary stuff. Now the big question though is, does the squad have to be within 8 inches, or do all the models that you can wound have to be within 8 inches, like in 40K, 8th edition? So that's the big key, and they haven't announced that yet. I don't think. They haven't announced that yet, to my knowledge. So that would be a trade-off. So I don't know how powerful Flamer Templates will be. It looks like they could be potentially powerful in 8th edition. So damage is a big change. Now the thing is, like a las cannon they use the example of, it's 48 inches, heavy 1, strength 9, AP -3. So it's a -3 save modifier. So Terminators are rolling on 5 up. Space Marines, 6 up. Orcs, dead. At least that means Space Marines will actually get an armor save against a las cannon. Kind of cool. D6 damage. Now, I'm pretty certain, now there's been a lot of debate on this, but based on the wording of Games Workshop, I think it's pretty cut and dry. It does specific, I think it's on the model that's being wounded. It does D6 wounds, in this particular case, on the model, not the squad, because it does implicitly mention that Guardsmen and Orcs, if you fired a las cannon on Orcs, it'd be wasted, right? If it was on the squad, it wouldn't be wasted, and that's why I'm pretty sure it's cut and dry. So it's on the model. So if you fire in a multi-wound model, like a monster creature, a Dreadnought, a vehicle, you do D6 wounds. Nice. Just don't roll a 1. But like a Guardsman, you only kill a model. An Orc boy, you kill a model, right? Makes sense, makes sense. So that's the big changes coming to... oh, the other thing. D weapons are gone. D weapons have been removed, they've said. That's another big change. D weapons are no longer part of Warhammer 40K, which is cool in my opinion. D weapons are really powerful and really overpowered in smaller games where you have a gun or a model that can just remove from play other models. It's pretty powerful stuff. And frankly, I'm not that upset. Maybe it's just gonna be now super high powered, but not like I'm hoping they remove the remove model from play. That was just too powerful. So, like, Wraith Knights were just walking around the table destroying everything. So, yeah, that's it. So, that's it. So, for the weapon profiles, the big changes were obviously no more template weapons. AP is now a modifier. And D, the number of damage. So, it could be multiple damage to a single model. So, a las cannon does D6 wounds to a single model that it hits, not to the squad. So, stay tuned for more videos about Warhammer 40K 8th edition rules. Really hope you enjoyed this. Leave comments in the comment section down below. What do you think about the new unit profiles? What do you think about the new weapon profiles? What do you think about no more templates? That one makes me sad, to be honest. I really liked template. So, stay tuned for more videos, and as always, this is a free content video. So, huge thank you to all my Patreon subscribers. Their names go by my head. Stay tuned for more vids. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting.